Hello, I'm Claire from createdtheottaway, and this is the card we're going to make today. A slide-in pop-up card. Okay, and we're using the Name for the Holiday set, one of my favourites. Let's give it a go. So I'm just going to pop that out the way. I love the fact that you can get a 3D card with less than an A4 sheet of card. So I've chosen Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to contrast it with Real Red. I'll give you the sizes in a moment. And we need a couple of layers of designer series paper for back and front, okay, which I am going to use white purely because on mine I've stamped an image on it on the front, and then I've stamped another one on the back. But equally, you could use some designer series paper. Okay, but for the purposes of the video, I'm going to be using white on here. You also need some designer series paper. Now again, on mine, I used 3 different types. Well, 2 actually, because Stampin' Up's designer series paper is double-sided. So there's actually 4 that are the same. I'm just using the reverse side of it. But I'll go through all the sizes as we do it. Okay, so the first thing you need is your A4 sheet of card, and you need to cut that on the short side. So this side here, you need to cut down at 12 centimetres. Okay, so not inches, centimetres. So 12 centimetres. So just over half, really, just slightly over. So that's the 12 centimetres. So that bit you could use for your pop-up bit, but I want mine in a contrasting colour. This is why it's quite a thrifty make, because you could get away with it from one piece of A4. So 12 centimetres there, and then I need to make sure it is 26 centimetres long. Okay, so 26, and again, extra bit you don't need, but you could use it for the sentiment, anything like that. Okay, so that's the base. The extra slide-in pop-up bit is this, which I'm doing in Real Red, just because I love the contrast and it matches the paper. This needs to be 12 centimetres by 9. Okay, so 12 centimetres across the same, but this time by 9 centimetres. So that's your 2 bits. Shall I go through the other sizes now, and then you can get them all ready? So the designer series paper that layers that, or white card as I'm doing, you need to do it slightly smaller so that you've got a frame. And I've taken mine in by ½ centimetre. So the white card here will be 11.5 by 8.5 centimetres, and you need 2. So you need 1 for front, 1 for back. Okay. If I was using designer series paper on here, on the front, I would think I still would do a white panel on the back, because it will give you somewhere to do your sentiment and your message. So there's those. Now the designer series paper is actually going to layer on here, and you need 6 pieces. So the first 2, again, I've come in by ½ centimetre. So these, all of these are 11.5 centimetres long, but I'll go through them individually. So you need two pieces that are 11.5 by 2¼ centimetres. Okay, so they are going to go about there and there. Don't worry about the layout at the moment. Then you need 4 pieces that are 11.5 by 3½ centimetres, and they're going to go there and there, and then you need the other 2 there and there. I've laid them on there just so you can see you can play around, see what patterns you want where before you glue anything on. Okay, so you can see the contrast. You could do them all in the same designer series paper. That's not a problem. If you've only got a little bit, just do it all in the same colour. Okay, so just to go through that again, you need one piece of base card, which is 26 centimetres by 12, a piece for the sliding pop-up, which is 12 centimetres by 9, 2 pieces for the front and back of the sliding panel. They need to be 11.5 by 8.5. Okay, so that's those. Then you need some pretty paper, designer series paper. If you're lucky enough to have Stampin' Up and it's double-sided, that cuts the job down in half. So you need 2 that are 11.5 by, what did I say? It was 2.25. And then you need 4, which are 11.5 by 3.5. Okay, let's get making. Okay, so I'm going to put all of those to one side and I'm going to concentrate on the base of my card. So I'm going to turn it this way round, and on the long side I'm going to do lots of scoring. Now I'm going to actually remove my cutting blade because yesterday 3 times I cut the paper off, and I'm sure you all know how annoying that is. So I've removed my blade and I've just got my scorer. Okay, now there's quite a few score lines, so you might want to write them down first, but I'll do them as slowly as I can. So they're all in centimetres. The first one is 2.5 centimetres, and remember you're just scoring. Okay, then 6.5 centimetres, scoring, 9 centimetres, scoring, 13 centimetres, scoring. It's worth it, honestly, because this is such a lovely card. 17 centimetres. Okay, we just want to score that. I think there's just 2 more. 19.5. Don't panic, I'll go through the sizes again. I know what it's like when I'm watching a video and I'm like, stop, 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 I'm not there yet. Okay, 23.5 is the very last one. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Leave that out the way a moment. So you've got loads of score lines, okay? Are you ready? 2.5 centimetres, 6.5 centimetres, 9 centimetres, 13 centimetres, 17 centimetres, 19.5 centimetres, 23.5 centimetres, and breathe. That is a lot of measurements. Okay, but that's it, okay? There's one more last tricky bit that I'm hoping to make really easy for you. So, before you do anything else, burnish it or anything, fold your card in half, okay? So you've literally just got it long ways and you've just folded it in half. Now you need to make the little slit that your pop-up bit will slide through. So we need to measure in from the edge 1.5 centimetres. Now I don't want to do a cut, I'm just going to score or just leave a little mark just on the edge there at 1.5 centimetres. So 1.5, put it down, and just where you feel the scorer go onto the card, can you see I've left a little mark there? Okay, and I'm going to do the same this side. So 1.5 centimetres in. Okay. Just have a look, can I see that? Yep. So I've got 1.5 there, 1.5 there. Okay. Turn it that way. Now what you're aiming to do is cut a little sliver off there, and it is a little sliver. You just need enough that your card will slide through. So I don't know if you've got Stampin' Up scorer like me, but I'm going to use that as my guide. So where, let's show you on a different colour card. So where this groove is, where the cutter goes, there's a darker, I don't know, grey piece that I'm going to put my card over to that piece. So it literally is just a little fraction. So the cutting bit is there, and I'm just going to move that over there, and I'm going to cut a sliver in between those two lines. Now remember, I took my cutter off, so I need to put it back on. And I'm going to do it where I think it starts. It is a little bit of guesswork, but can you see that is the bit I need to cut off? So I'm going to use a very sharp piece of a pair of scissors. I'm going to do my little cut there, and that should help me bring that. Okay, so that's come off. Now this side I'm going to do the same. Okay, and cut it there, and you can see I've not quite cut up, but that's okay because I can use my very sharp scissors. Now you could do this with a knife and a ruler, but it's faffing, and I think it's just as easy doing this. So there's my little channel. So just to check that it's wide enough. Okay, it's not for me, so mine won't go through. So I need to trim it, ever such a tiny bit. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit, an extra bit there, and it is a tiny bit, so I'm going to do a tiny bit at a time. Is that enough though? Oh, butterfingers. Sorry, it's really dark card, so it's probably not ideal for video. Okay, so I'm just going to try that again. I'm going to try, does my card slide through? Yes. Okay, so that's all I'm aiming for, a slit that my card will slide through easily. Okay, let's move these out of the way now. That's it. That is the hardest bit done. Can you believe we're nearly there? Okay, so next bit, putting it together. Shall we decorate this bit first? So I'm going to use this. This is in the holiday catalogue. We've got a fun week ahead of us next week, and I just wanted to show you how amazing this set is. So on the front, this is my white piece for the front, and I'm just going to stamp the tree trunk with the Christmas lights, and I'm using Memento ink, okay, because I'm going to be colouring it with my stamping blends. Okay, now the other important thing. So I know that that is going to be there. I'll explain in a minute, hang on. So when this slides up through, you don't see the whole of this bit. So I need to aim for my image to be slightly more towards the top. Now, what we're going to do in a minute is fold this bit back and glue it on there. So I'm going to fold it back because that will tell me where the bottom of my white card will be. And I also know that it's going to end up like that. So the image needs to be, let's have a look, probably about 3 centimetres up. So I wouldn't be stamping it there. I would be stamping it not quite at the top because I want to put a sentiment as well, but I think around there. Okay. So my Memento ink is quite dry, so I'm just holding it in place for a moment, just so that I get a nice crisp image. So that's that. And I also want to put this one that says Holly Jolly Everything. Okay, so I'm just going to put that to the side there. Okay, let's see if I can put this on straight as well. Ta-da! Okay, now on my first card, what I did was stamped that image and coloured it and then just stuck her straight on because I wanted her to be a little bit 3D. You could just stamp straight on the card. If you are going to do what I did and make her a little bit 3D, you can't really put dimensionals on because you want her to slide through. So I've already pre-cut her, pre-stamped her there. So I'll just colour her later and add her in. But that is the front of my card ready. I just need to colour it, which ordinarily I would colour in case I make any mistakes before I stick it onto my sliding piece. But honestly, if you do not want to watch me colour, it will take ages. You could get away with using 3 colours, the 3 main colours that are in the designer series paper, but oh no, not me. I do the whole rainbow of colours. Okay, so that's my front bit. My back bit, when I stamped mine, I really like the sentiment that says there's no place like Nome for the Christmas season, but I also really like this guy who's got his hands up in the air. So I'll quickly show you how to do that on the back, if we've got time. Yes, we'll make time. Okay, so I'm also going to do that not in the middle, but slightly higher. Okay, so here, that is going to go slightly higher, maybe about there. I've got a feeling that that wasn't straight, but oh, it's not bad. Okay. Now to stamp over the top or do masking, okay, I'm going to use a post-it note and I'm going to use the stickier bit there, and what I'm doing is cutting a strip that will cover that. Okay, I don't want it much wider than it because I want it to look like he's holding on to it. So literally this sticky bit is just exactly the same, luckily, as my sentiment. Now I'm going to ink him up the same as what I would normally do. I know that his hands are the bits that point out here because it's not a polymer die, so you can't see through it. But I'm going to aim to get those 2 bumps above the sentiment and keep everything crossed. Okay, so about there. Again, I'm just pressing and holding for a minute because of my Memento ink. Oh, looks like he might be about right. And then take that off. Yay! Very happy with that. So he's going to go on the back. And again, I can colour that at a later date. So just wait for that to dry a minute. Put some glue on the back. Okay. So excited to get to the ta-da moment. Okay, so that just goes on the back. That's it. That's my pop-up panel done, apart from adding the little lady on there. So I'm going to move that, put that to one side, bring back this. Okay, so now I need to stick my panels down. As always, I'm going to lay them on so that I can make sure that they are right. It's at this stage that if your cutting is slightly out, you can tweak it as well. What I mean by that is if you've got a really fat opening, you might have to trim these bits down a little bit. So they're going to go there and there. Okay, right, let's stick those on. Tombow glue as always, because it gives you some wiggle room. Okay, there's my first one. Here's my second one. Okay, here's my third one. Love these colours. Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz and Real Red. So gorgeous together and really Christmassy. That gingham, oh, love gingham. Okay, that goes there. I'm getting excited about putting it together so you can go, ta-da! Okay, there's that bit. Okay, if you've got pattern DSP, think about which way round it will go. I think on this one, I did it that way, which is fine, but I quite like it this way. Okay, a bit there. Oh, we're so nearly there, girls. Okay, this one. Okay, right, so that's all the pieces done. Just give them a second to glue. Okay. Right, fold it in half, but put this flap up. This bottom, oh, we didn't, what's that word I'm looking for? I didn't score it. No, we scored it. We didn't burnish it. That's what I'm looking for. Quickly burnish it. Rewind, burnish. Okay, there. The first bit, fold up. Okay. Put some, think about where that's going to go, which is there. Put some glue on the flap where that's going to go. Okay, so just on the flap. Bring that down, making sure that it is fitting inside the cut, if that makes sense. Because there's no point having it over one edge and it won't fit through. Okay, so just make sure that that's level. Okay. Actually, what I should have done is fitted that through first. Oh, goodness me, I'm getting too excited and it's not working. Okay, right, put it through the flap, then stick it down. Okay, ta-da! Then bring this bit over, fold this piece back on here, so this flap, and you're going to put glue all over this, okay, and glue just to the side, glue to the side here, and glue along here, okay, and you're going to bring that over so that it meets that bit there. Okay, and just press down really hard on there. You might want to put a weight on it or do it because you really want it to be stuck firm. Although Tombow glue, to be fair, is very strong. Okay, I think we're nearly out of time. Just in time to show you. So the first few times you need to just give it a little bit of a helping hand, like that. Okay, but that is your sliding pop-up card. There's it flat, there's it flat. Again, the camera angle's not great. That's it made. Okay. And it fits gets an envelope in the post. How cool is that? Ta-da! Okay, so that's one we've just made. And here's one I made earlier, proper Blue Peter style. I'll put him on there. Just when you're sticking him down, just make sure that you don't stick his top bit, you just stick the bottom bit. I've put her on the back of there and it still slides through. I love it. I hope you love it too. Thanks for watching, girls. Enjoy.